So, can I push my Devin Booker MVP agenda, or is it too early? Here we are, it's another season of me trying to prove to people why Devin Booker is the MVP. Because it seems like once again, there are a lot of people in the media that just aren't considering Devin Booker, and the buzz for him is just not there. Now, as a lot of you guys know, I don't like the media, so I don't really keep up with shows like First Take and like whatever the hell else is out there. But so far, the only person that I've seen Booker is in their MVP conversation is Kendrick Perkins. Now, I've seen other people on Twitter say that Booker should be the MVP, and they're bringing up good reasons why, but people are justifying him not being the MVP because of last year. Because of one fucking series that Booker is never going to live down. This season, Devin Booker is averaging 29, 5, and 5 on 58% true shooting. All while the Phoenix Suns are the #1 team in the Western Conference according to the standings. I would like to also mention the fact that Cam Johnson has been out for some time. Chris Paul, who according to a lot of people is the only reason why Booker's been good, he's been injured for some time. And Jay Crowder, where the fuck is Jay Crowder? And I know they're 16-6, which isn't really a bad record, but if you want me to get technical, the Suns' losses are combined for a total of 6 points. So when you really look at it, they could be 16-2, but just because of a possession that they messed up or a game winner, that's why they lost. But regardless, a loss is a loss, so they're 16-6. Now, with all of this in mind, why is Devin Booker not being considered for MVP? Why is Booker having a career high season so far? The Suns are the #1 team in the West, and he's playing at an MVP level, yet he's not being considered. What does this man have to do to get some recognition? Now, the reason I'm even making this video is because Devin Booker in the last 2 games had 44 points versus the Kings and 51 versus the Bulls. To be honest, I was planning on making this video sometime in like mid-December, but nah, I gotta start this agenda now. Fun fact about this 50-point game, Devin Booker shot 20 for 25. Since 1995, this has happened 5 times where a player scored 50 points and they missed less than 5 shots. And Booker is now one of those players. Now, if you actually watch the game, there was about 10 minutes left in the game and Booker just did not play for the rest of the 4th. So I'm just saying, if Booker would have went in, he probably would have ended with like 60. Y'all have no idea what kind of timing I would have been on if this man had 60 or maybe even 70 again. After doing research on Twitter for about 10 minutes, I've came to the conclusion why Booker's not going to win MVP to a lot of fans. One of the reasons is that there are so many players putting up amazing stats, and that definitely is a true factor. In fact, this fan brought up the top 5 scores this year so far, and the top 3 unfortunately are not contributing to winning basketball. However, Giannis and Tatum, that's a completely different story. Giannis, I'm not going to really debate against Giannis. Tatum's having a good year, but I'm only worried about consistency, but so far he looks pretty good. However, I don't want to just go off points per game, but I feel like that's definitely a factor. According to this guy, it's because their team is always going to be disappointing when it comes to making it far in the playoffs. He also said he was a first-round exit. First off, Booker has made the playoffs 2 times in his career. The first season he made the finals, the second they lost in the second round. I think we need to realize that it is very rare for a player to win a championship in his first 2 playoff runs. And the fact he damn near did it in his first playoff run should be talked about. Of course, the job was not finished, so I don't want to focus on that too much. But now he's on pace to make his 3rd playoffs, and the Suns are the #1 seed in the West, so shouldn't that tell you something? Also, let's not pretend like Phoenix hasn't sucked for the last like 10 years. It was only about a year or 2 ago when Phoenix finally made the playoffs, and now they're a consistent playoff team. This is a pretty new thing for Phoenix, I'm just saying. And if you look at a lot of great teams that win titles, they don't win on their 1st or 2nd run. It normally takes a couple years for them to get used to the playoffs. They utilize the experience they've had and they figure out a way to make the perfect team to win a championship. Hell, let's look at Giannis, someone that was always considered a playoff choker, yet he won a title. Also, the MVP award is technically a regular season award, but I get the point about playoff success because I definitely do look at playoff success, even though, like I said, the MVP is based on the regular season. Regardless, y'all are holding Booker to a ridiculous standard, and yet he's getting there. I'm just saying, in Luka Doncic's first 2 playoff runs, they didn't even come close to making the finals. Same with Tatum and Giannis and Curry, you know, the other players for MVP. So I have no doubt that in the future, Booker will win a championship, and maybe it will be this year, but that shouldn't be the main factor on him not winning MVP. I think another reason is the Suns hate. It is a very common thing to hate on the Phoenix Suns, and to a lot of people, level, it's justified. Whether it was the winner's work video, whether it's having Chris Paul on the team, which, oh, okay, I could understand. The Jay Crowder celebrations. Wait, what? I'm reading this shit off, and this is ridiculous. Our team's not allowed to celebrate no more? I've heard the term, this team is corny, and honestly, I don't get it anymore. There were people defending the Timberwolves when Patrick Beverley basically just acted like they won the NBA title. Yet the Suns celebrating is corny now? At this point, y'all are just grasping for straws. I want to take a quick moment in this video to thank you guys for the recent support, and if you guys are enjoying the content I've been putting out, if you could leave a like on this and subscribe to the channel. I don't know if I've said this publicly, but we're going daily throughout December, so I'm going to be putting out a lot of content. So if you guys want to see videos like this, then subscribe to the channel. I also heard someone bring up the whole Devin Booker Raptors mascot, which wasn't that like last season? But okay, you think Booker's a pussy, whatever, you could say the same thing about Luka. And honestly, if you want to put that against Booker, I guess you could. But if we're talking about the MVP, I don't think that's actually a real good argument to make. Also, if I hear one more thing about the Kobe comparisons, I'm gonna lose my shit. It's like if people called me a Jimmy High Roller clone, which a lot of people have actually done.
Well, let's not get carried away here.
And I said publicly that I'm not a Jimmy High Roller clone, that I look up to him, but I'm not trying to replicate his content. And then people try to claim I'm trying to steal his content and be a replica of him. It's fucking stupid. Well, that's basically what's going on with Booker. He has said numerous times he's not Kobe, and yet the media has put this narrative that he is Kobe 2.0, which fine. We compare current players to all-time greats all the time. It's a pretty common thing. For fuck's sake, we had everyone and their mom trying to find a new Michael Jordan in the early 2000s. Did y'all know Andrew Wiggins' nickname was Maple Jordan when he came into the league? Like, it's a common thing for people trying to replace these all-time greats with new current day players. And I think the comparisons are kind of cool, but it's not Booker's fault, especially when, again, he has said numerous times he's not Kobe.
You know, so I try to take bits and pieces of his mentality and his approach, but, you know, I should never be compared to Kobe Bryant.
The only problem I have is people still comparing me to Kobe Bryant when I told them in the playoffs, stop bringing up Mamba mentality. I'm inspired by Kobe Bryant and Mamba mentality, but I am not Kobe Bryant.
Y'all did not keep the same energy with that Jason Tatum Kobe text in the finals. I'm just saying. But when Stephen A. Smith says Booker's the next Kobe, y'all put that on Book. How the fuck does that work? It doesn't. It really doesn't. But as long as you can hate on Booker for some easy engagement, then it's all good. Booker has the stats to become an MVP. His team is succeeding at that level. But unfortunately, the hate for Devin Booker and a little bit of the overshadowing of guys like Giannis and Tatum could be a factor why he won't win. Now, there is another player that could be why Booker's not going to win MVP. In my personal respective opinion, I don't think this player should win it, but he definitely is going to overshadow Booker. I'm talking about Luka, and there are many reasons why he could be an MVP caliber player. But on the next episode of Spex Media, we're going to talk about why he's not the MVP.